How's it going, YouTube? This is John Crawford here. Today I'm doing a little presentation on the Rockschool Grade 1 piece from the new syllabus called Get Off, written by James Uings. It's for Guitar Grade 1. The reason I'm presenting this today is because I have been noticing in my teaching of these pieces that my students are running into common problems in the same places. So I'd like to take this opportunity to offer some help for future students working on the pieces. Maybe this video will serve as a tool for them to practice at home. So, before I begin doing any teaching, let me play this piece as it is written in the book in its entirety with the backing track. Yes, I'm using a PlayStation 3 controller. I've got all my Rockschool backing track stuff stored on my PlayStation, so I can get to it quickly during teaching. Let's see, I'm not in the right place.
Get off.
Here we go.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, I stopped the camera for a sec so that I could grab my book so that we could work through this piece together. Alright. The first section, section A, which is the first 4 measures of the piece, goes like this. The issue my students are having there is just simply the same issue that all guitar teachers deal with on a daily basis, and that is transition in new chords, transitioning from the A to the D minor, to the A minor, to the E minor. So here is an exercise you can do at home to help you practice. Just practice going A minor, D minor, A minor, E minor, and just do that over and over again. Let's do that together for a few tries. 1, 2, 3, 4. A minor, D minor, A minor, E minor, A minor. I'll do it a little bit more slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. Once again. Okay, if you'll just spend a little bit of quality time every day, or every time you sit down to practice, that will come to you very quickly, and you'll be very surprised at how quickly you'll learn that. The next part, section B, is melodic, meaning it has a melody, or what we call in the guitar world a lead line. It uses the A minor pentatonic scale. I don't think it uses it in 2 octaves, but it comes pretty close. The book calls for you to play the A minor pentatonic scale in your exam, so you'll want to practice that. That'll give you some idea of the finger patterns that you'll want to use in the left hand when you play this melodic section. So let me play that melodic section for you. let's do that again. A lot of my students have trouble with this. Okay, let's do it one more time, much more slowly. One more time, very slowly. Okay, on a side note, I did not feel like dragging my electric guitar out here today, so I'm just using my acoustic. Let's take a look at the next section. That is section, actually there's quite a bit to section B. Let me play all of section B for you before we get to the chordal part in section C. But I was talking mostly about this opening riff in section B. That really bothers my students. I apologize, I have no close-up capability on my camera right now. I'm shooting alone. But when you're playing this first part, that's easy enough. Use your ring finger to catch the 3rd fret C note right here. Then you're going to be playing an F and an A. So use your ring finger for the F, which is the 3rd fret D note if you're just a tab reader right now. And for that 2 note, which is that A on the G string, that 2nd fret note right there, that A, use your middle finger. Excuse me. And then you hit an E at the end of that little riff. And you don't want too much blending. Okay? That's a technique used in certain kinds of melodies, but not this one. You want each note to be separate. So, ring, middle, F, A, F, E. Or, for tab people, 3, 2, 3, 2. 3 on the D, 2 on the A, 3 on the D, 2 on the E. So let me play all of section 2, section B, so that you can hear what this entire thing sounds like before we get to section C, where the chords start at the bottom of the page. Sorry, I'm just watching for students. See how I did that with my fingers? And here I go again. Here I come. Index finger for F. Let me play section B for you slowly so that you can hear what the whole thing sounds like, and try to play along. 1, 2, 3, 4. So, the trick here is assign each finger a fret. Index finger for the 1st fret, middle for the 2nd, ring for the 3rd, pinky for the 4th. That strategy has worked well for me in my adventures in this grade. So, and so forth and so on. So when you get to this part here, will already have a planned out place to go. One other rock school instructor that I watched on YouTube said that guitar playing is a series of planned ahead movements. So yes, it takes some planning ahead. plan a strategy for where your fingers are going to be, and you'll be able to play the piece more effectively. Okay. Next section, section C. This is chordal again. That slowly because you have to catch that rhythm. And one other little thing I'd like to point out. At grade 1, you're still learning your basic chord shapes. And if I remember correctly, I have to look at my music again. But the G chord they call for here is a little 4-finger G that I like to use. It's very common in rock and roll. So start out learning it. You'll sometimes use that. Sometimes you'll use that. But in this case, Mr. Uings calls for us to do this. So, this took a little while because I spent years playing a G chord like this. So I had to adapt to that. But listen to the very modern sound that chord has with that extra D. So we have. Practice that movement back and forth. Going from a C major chord to this new G. I promise this will help. I'm still in a habit of playing this one, so sometimes I catch myself doing that. Don't fall into that trap. Till your transitions speed up. Okay, so yeah, different chair, different time of day. I taught 3 students and took a dinner break. I'm back. Okay, we're looking at section D. Section D is a tricky little melodic section in the song that some of my students have a lot of trouble with. The first piece of advice I'll give you is try to find out how to play an A minor pentatonic scale in 2 octaves in the first position. Do it slowly. If you want to know more about that, if I get enough requests for it, I'll do an actual video on the 2 octave A minor pentatonic. Or if you're one of my students, just ask me about it, or send me a comment, write me a note, whatever. Okay, that's the first thing that helped me in nailing down this section. The next thing is, let's go back to what I was saying before. Assign each finger okay, all but one note inside of this thing is a chromatic scale, but that's not even what really matters. Beg your pardon. This has more to do with the physical mechanics of playing the guitar than any kind of theory thing. This is an exercise for training the fingers. If I had more close-up capability, I could actually show you what I'm doing. But what I'm doing essentially is my first finger is assigned to the first fret, second finger, second fret, third finger, third fret, fourth finger, fourth fret. And if you'll do this a few times before each practice, even if it's rather slowly, that was not a note within a chromatic scale. That was another B note. For those of you who are curious. What I'm doing is playing the open string, then going 1, 2, 3, 4, open, 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 1, 2, that just a couple of times before each practice session, you'll be very surprised at how your finger movement will develop. Let me play section D for you. Let me do it again slowly. A, C, A, E. I'm using my middle, index, middle, open, ring, 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 index, middle, 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 index, middle, open. And it goes on like that. See there, right here? Right there, those are open strings and second fret notes. Then I have a third fret note here on the end of C. See how my fingers correspond to the frets? And if you'll just think like that when you're doing this, it'll be a lot easier. It's not good to use like one or two fingers to do this. I can't even think like that. That's a very bad practice. Avoid that. Avoid going. Excuse me. That's also bad. It gets your fingers out of position. So what you want to do, so what we're going to do now is play this little riff, 6-measure riff in section D, together very slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. Play along if you can. Let me do that again. I was talking. I'll do it again slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, section E, if I'm not mistaken, goes back to what we did in the beginning. Then it ends with 2 A minor chords. So let's play that again. See how each finger corresponds with each string? Alright, now, one last thing let's do before we close this lesson out. Let's play this together very slowly with no accompaniment. Just you and me. Okay? Do this over and over and over again until you've got it. Then, slowly on your own, begin to pick up speed until you're ready to use the backing track. And I'm going to tell you that if you haven't already realized this, the backing track is really more than half of the system. I mean, the songs are written to build skills that you didn't previously have. But the backing track forces you to use those skills in time with the music, thus developing you as a better player. So get your CDs out and use them, or put them on your computer so that you can spare them, you know, because you're going to be using your CD quite a lot. But whatever way you choose to do it, get that backing track out and really work with it. But right now, let's you and I like we're sitting here in my studio, play this nice and slow together. We're going to play the whole thing from the very top. Get off. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for coming in and watching. I hope this helped. If you have more questions, you want to know more about that A minor pentatonic in 2 octaves or anything else I discussed, leave a comment below or send me a message or whatever. Peace and God bless. Thank you very much.